Hello again, YouTube. I hope everybody's doing good, or doing well, I should say. It's raining today, so if you hear rain, don't worry. It's just the rain, so hopefully that'll be okay. Yeah. So what were we supposed to talk about today? We were going to talk about diet, health, something like that. However, just like in the past, I received an interesting interesting letter, which I would like to discuss with you. So we are going to change the topic a little bit. So just to clarify, let me move over to my handy PPT. All right, so in today's letter, we're going to be talking about some complications that started with smartphones. Now, smartphones are so useful, aren't they? Because we can do everything, almost everything with a smartphone. Check our email, text message. They're so good. But they also contain a lot of private stuff, don't they? They contain photos, search history, financial details. So it's not surprising that we may desire privacy when it comes to our cell phones. I want to ask you, would you be comfortable letting a friend look through your smartphone? And you know, some people aren't comfortable. Some people aren't. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. I received a really interesting letter about how smartphones can be a hot topic in a relationship. And one of the reasons why this may be so is because even though you're with someone physically, you can be somewhere else in cyberspace, you know, doing whatever. So yeah, this is something that I thought you would be interested to listen to, so we'll be talking about this. So today's schedule, what we're going to be doing today. Number one, we're going to talk about privacy in different kinds of relationships, privacy among friends, privacy among romantic partners, coworkers, etc. Second, we're going to talk about independence. How important is it for you to be independent? And referring to relationships specifically, how important is independence? Or how independent do you want to be in your relationship? Now, I know some of us may have different situations. Some of us may be some of us may be married, some of us may be single. So we're going to talk about those things. Pre-reading questions. Okay, so let's consider these questions. Number one, are you a private person? Why or why not? Two, when you are in a relationship, is it important to tell your partner everything? Now, that could be sort of a tricky question to answer. I'm going to try my best. 3, should parents monitor what their kids do online? Who they chat with, what they post on SMS, what websites they visit, etc. Next, are you an independent person, or do you like to rely on other people for emotional support? Now, humans are always emotional. We're emotional social creatures, right? However, it seems like some people need to rely on other people more than others, so we'll talk about that more. Next question, is it possible for someone to be too dependent, too independent? Okay, I'm sure most of us will agree that it is indeed possible, right? So, lastly, what does saving face mean to you? Now, saving face, we're going to come back to this term. We're going to learn more about it later. It is important, especially depending on what culture you come from. Okay. So, guys, just to start out, I want you to think about these questions. You don't have to answer yet. I'm going to share with you my answers. Hopefully that will give you some ideas about how you want to proceed, and then I want to have a conversation with you. Okay? So, first answer, are you a private person? Why or why not? My answer is absolutely. This is my real answer. I'm not making this up. I'm especially private regarding my future plans and life goals. I prefer to let my actions speak louder than words. So instead of broadcasting my future ambitions, I think it's better to just go for it and let your achievements speak for themselves. So hopefully that makes sense. That way, if you fail, no one can blame you for failing. You don't want people to say that you're all talk and no action. So that is someone who, when someone's all talk and no action, that just means that they always say what they want to do, but they never take initiative. So yeah, I'm a private person, and a lot of this comes down to saving face. So avoiding disgrace. We're going to talk more about this later. Next question. When you are in a relationship, is it important to tell your partner everything? Okay, so this is a really tricky question. Let me give it a shot. I don't think so. In fact, I would advise against it. For example, I don't think it's a good idea to talk too much about your past relationships. It could make your current partner think that you are comparing them to other people. That's not good. It can be disrespectful. So I'm not saying that you should lie, but sometimes in social situations, you need to know when to keep your mouth shut. Not volunteering information that will make you look bad. So this also has to do with saving face, which we'll talk more about later. Next question. Should parents monitor what their kids are doing online? Who should they chat with? Do they monitor who they chat with or what they post on SMS? So my answer is yes, I think they should. It's the parents' responsibility to make sure that their kids are growing up in a healthy environment. So I think that's a good thing. That also applies to their online environment. I think we can all agree that children should not be exposed to harmful people or content. That said, after children grow up, it's time for the parents to back off. As parents, we should teach our children how to make wise decisions so that they don't need someone always watching out for them. So I've seen this happen where parents, even though their children are in their 20s or 30s, they still try to protect their kids. And I'm sorry, but there's a certain point where as parents, we have to back off and let kids make their own decisions. And, ages 1 to 18, that was the time for us to protect our children. But yeah, I think hopefully you get that point. If you have more questions about my opinion, please ask later. Okay. Are you an independent person, or do you like to rely on other people for emotional support? Okay. I think I'm more independent than others. Yes, I do. I am not a very social person. That said, I do have a small group of friends that I chat with on Kakao Talk. We may go hiking together once every 2 months or so. So not that many friends, not that many social activities. I think it's important to note, however, that humans are very social creatures, and we all need friends and emotional support from time to time. We need that social network for security. Social people, I think, actually have it a lot better than people like me. I envy social people because they have many advantages in this society. Their personalities are better for networking and business, making money, So it's really good to be a social person. So I think that it is definitely the best kind of personality to have. Next, is it possible for someone to be too independent? Of course, yes and yes. As with most things, balance is key. If someone is too independent, they can come across as aloof, unreliable, and I think that sometimes independent people can seem antisocial if they don't want to join group activities. If they're too independent, people won't like them that much. Furthermore, too much dependence or independence can damage a relationship. You guys have probably seen examples of a relationship where one person is too weak, like one personality is too strong and the other one's too dependent. I think we've all seen that, even in movies. So I think it's important to strike a balance. With all things, balance is important. Okay. Last question. I'm sorry if I'm talking too much. I will give you guys time to talk, I promise. What does saving face mean to you? Okay. Now I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't think, before I came to Korea, before I started living in Asia, I never even heard of this term saving face. I never heard of it. But since living here, it's become more of a big deal. So I think that certain cultures emphasize saving face more than others, generally speaking. So all this means is to avoid losing the respect of others in social situations. If something bad happens, you can save face by doing something to avoid blame. So it's to retain respect, humiliation. I'm getting a message. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so retain respect, avoid humiliation. So I try to help people avoid that. So if one of my coworkers makes a mistake, I learned to help them save face by not blaming them directly. Okay, now I want to have a discussion with you, so please let's talk together. I'm going to move the conversation over. I have talked too much, so we're going to take these questions one by one. Yeah. So some people mentioned that they can see the exam schedule behind me. Yes, you should be mindful of the exam. It is really important. Good. All right, so let me type in those questions. So the first question is, are you a private person? Next, when you're in a relationship, do you tell your partner everything? So a little bit of not always easy to answer. So yeah, just to reiterate what I said, sometimes, not just in relationships, but in social situations, you want to avoid giving out information that may embarrass yourself. I think that's important. Yeah, so just be, I'm not saying that we should lie, but we should definitely be mindful of that, what you say. Okay, thanks. I got some comments here. I really appreciate your comments, guys. It makes my job easier. Luna, you say that you're a private person. Good, good. Me too. So you don't usually talk much about yourself to other people. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want them to know what you did or do, especially personal things. Yeah, I think I'm like that. I'm very similar to you in that respect. And it's really a way to protect yourself because some people may gossip about you if you give out too much personal information. You tell one person and pretty soon everybody's talking about it, aren't they? Yeah. Let's look at the next few questions. The next question is, should parents monitor what their kids do online? Who they chat with, what they post on SMS, what websites they visit? I know some of you must be parents, right? Do you monitor what your kids do online? Nowadays, everyone has a cell phone, even our kids. When I was a kid, I didn't have a cell phone. In fact, I didn't have a cell phone until I was just out of high school. And I didn't even want a cell phone. My parents forced me to carry a cell phone around. So the generations are definitely advancing technologically, aren't they? Yeah. All right, thanks for your comment, guys. So one person, Frenchie, says privacy is very important, okay? But you're not a private person. Yeah, everybody has different personalities. That's correct. Uh-huh. And yeah, so I would rather share most things, good or bad, with my partner. Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's one of the reasons why we have romantic partners, right? So we can share things. That's one of the whole points. Yeah, no says yes, totally. Parents have full control and it's legal. Yeah, so it's getting hot in here. So even though parents do have full control, that's right, and they should have full control, how do you monitor what your kids are doing on your cell phone? Like, do you have any special strategy when it comes to that? Yeah, let me know. Yeah. All right. So, and then another parent says, I might monitor what my kids do online, but I'm not going to say anything unless they need help. Yeah, so some parenting styles give their kids more freedom than others. When I was growing up, my parents didn't tell me to do anything. They gave me a lot of freedom. Maybe I was just a good kid. Yeah, I think I may have been good. Hmm. Oh, another person says, and you're a very private person. Indeed. Yeah. Oh, no, thanks for clarifying. When they are asleep. So are you saying when your kids are asleep, you go into their phone and you look at what they're. Well, that's one way to do it. Yeah. Okay, next question. Are you an independent person or do you like to rely on other people for emotional support? So are you more emotionally, we're talking about emotion. Are you emotionally dependent or independent? Mm-hmm. Oh, we're getting so many comments. Thank you guys. I love it. I love it. So Jungwon says, I think parents should monitor their kids, uh, but they and give them boundaries too. Absolutely, kids need boundaries. Yeah. I wish my parents would have given me more boundaries. Would have made my life easier. Okay, so yeah, so Luna says, I didn't have controlling parents, but I grew up well, so I think it is up to people, up to parents and up to kids. Yeah, yeah, some parents and kids, all personalities are different. Some kids are just naturally well behaved. So they don't need that much micromanagement. That's another word we're going to learn later on today. Yeah. Oh, okay, good to know. N says there are many apps for protecting your kids. So you can use those for your children. Yeah, I don't have children. I don't have children, at least not yet, so I don't know any about this. I'm learning something new today. Yeah. All right, and then we have another opinion that says, I would rather rely on emotional support. It's hard to control emotional things like depression or some private problems. Right, so we all need that emotional support from our friend group, or our family, and so on. So true, so true. Okay, next question. Is it possible for someone to be too dependent or independent? Uh, so I think we can all agree that yes, it is possible. But can you give me an example? How do we know when someone is too independent or too dependent? How do we know that? At what point does it become a problem? Hmm. Okay, we're getting some comments here. Yeah, yeah. So one person, Luna, you used to rely on people for emotional support, but now you don't, because because correct me, I hope I can understand you correctly. You don't hold in how you feel, you express yourself, and that makes it easier to handle your emotions. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do agree with that. A lot of people suppress their emotions, and it's not healthy. There has to be a balance. We're going to talk more about this. Balance is good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, good, good. Yeah, so N says you're an independent person, but you need emotional support. Yeah, of course, me too. Mm-hmm. All right, so Jongdaewon, excuse me, Jongdaewon says, I'm an independent person, but I try to solve what's happening in my life on my own first. But if you need emotional support, you can get it, right? It's not a concession to weakness. Mm. All right. Oh, interesting stories. Luna says, I know someone who is too dependent. She can't even choose what she is going to eat for lunch. She has to ask everyone. Yeah, yeah, and some people, I know some people can't help the way they are, but I think if you feel that you're too dependent or independent, try to change yourself a little bit to become a little more moderate because, yeah, people who are too dependent can be a little annoying. They can be a burden to be around, right? So something to keep in mind. Yeah, a little independence hasn't hurt anyone. Good. All right, so last question, and then we'll move on to the letter. The question is, what does saving face mean to you? Okay, so I think it's a very important concept. At least I had to sort of learn this concept working in the office environment because if you call someone out, if you talk with them too directly, they could become defensive. So I try to handle things in an indirect way. Don't make people feel bad. We want everyone to save face. Yeah, Frenchie, everyone, balance is extremely important. I do agree with that. Mm-hmm. Good, good. Oh, so we have a story of a mother who said that when she had to go to the hospital to give birth, she wanted to go alone. So you don't, even though you have kids, you didn't ask for help. So yeah, you must have a really strong personality. I admire that. Yeah, that's so good. Frenchie, saving face, it means not to look stupid or feel embarrassed in front of others. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Yeah, it means not to look stupid. So with that in mind, we're going to talk more about this, see how all these ideas come together in today's letter. So we're going to talk about someone who has a girlfriend who isn't happy with something that he's doing. Okay, so we have to think, whose fault is it? Is it the boyfriend or the girlfriend? What's going on here? So let's. Oh, and absolutely, if you have more questions, please keep commenting. I'll try to get to them as soon as possible later. All right, so this is the question. This is the letter we're going to look at later today. As you can see, I have underlined all sorts of good words which we'll learn, and these are words that native speakers use very commonly. So I think you will be benefited by learning them. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Uh, Dear Professor Noland, that's me. I'm writing to ask for advice about a situation with my girlfriend. Uh-oh. I usually keep my phone locked with a password. She doesn't like it. She wants to scroll through my photos and private conversations on SMS. Should I let her have her way, or is it time to put my foot down? I've always preferred to keep the people in my life neatly partitioned. I want there to be a clear distinction between my work life, love life, social life, family, and different groups of friends. That's right, even my friends have their own special groups. Friends I met at university, friends I met at work, friends I met at church, and so on. This way, even if I screw up in one social sphere, I can at least save face in others. Oh, there we go, save face. The word came back. Basically, I value my privacy. Okay? But my girlfriend isn't happy with this paradigm. Paradigm. We'll talk about that later. She's not happy with this. She wants me to be completely transparent with everything I do in my free time, both online and offline. When I go out, she wants me to tell her where I am and who I'm with. She also wants me to post our couple photo on social media. As I said before, I'm a private person. The very thought of broadcasting my relationship status in such a shameless way is so cringeworthy. Okay? To me, being in a relationship is no great accomplishment. Relationships come and go. They are not stable entities. I would rather define my own success based on things I can control. Don't get me wrong, I like her. I like her a lot. She's an attractive and smart woman. But I value my independence. They say no man's an island, but perhaps that doesn't apply to me. I worked hard to get to where I am in life. My entrepreneurship has led to a lucrative business venture. I have my own apartment, my own car, my own space, my own life. After I have accomplished so many things by myself, what right does she have to come into my life and start controlling everything? Oh, that's a good question. I don't like the idea of being micromanaged. I'm afraid this may turn into a slippery slope kind of situation. If I let her keep tabs on me whenever I go out, it will become the new normal. I'm a grown-ass man. Well, I'm a grown-ass man, for crying out loud. I don't want to report in to anyone. This is precisely why I moved out of my parents' house so very long ago. Do you think I'm overreacting? Should I adjust my attitude? Please let me know. Anonymous. Okay, so we're having a guy with relationship problems here. Okay, guys, I know that this was a lot. This was a lot to take in. So just try to think of the main ideas. We'll come back to this later. But first, I want to ask you, what advice would you give this person? What do you think about the writer? What do you think about his girlfriend? So at this point, just think about it. Don't answer yet. We'll get to that. I want to go through this first, sentence by sentence, to make sure you understand what's going on. So the letter contains several English expressions that we may find useful. Let's get started. Here they are. Okay. First one, have one's way. So this just means to get what you want, to have things done according to your personal preference. The writer says, should I let my girlfriend have her way? So what does this mean? Should I give her the password to my phone and let her look at all my social media activities? That's what she wants, right? So if you let her have her way, this is what's going to happen. Example. If the child doesn't get what he wants, he'll start having a tantrum that could last all night. What's another way we can say this? If the child doesn't have his way, he'll start having a tantrum. Have his way. Get his way. Have it your way. So when you say have it your way, it's an expression of frustration, really. Expression of just, I don't agree with you, but you can do whatever you want. For example, you should eat a healthy, balanced diet. And then the other person says, no way, I can't give up candy. Fine, have it your way, but if you get diabetes someday, remember it was your choice. So have it your way. It's a way we can disagree with someone else. Have it your way. So this is the feeling, an angry feeling. Sorry, but I don't want to quit smoking. I like it. What can we say next? Well, fine. Have it your way. But if you get lung cancer, you have no one to blame but yourself. Have it your way. Put one's foot, oh, excuse me, not food. Foot, F-O-O-T. Put one's foot down. Oh my goodness, I made a mistake. So this just means to adopt a firm policy. We can see the sentence here. Put my foot down. Should I let her have her way, or is it time to put my foot down? So am I going to defy my girlfriend's wishes? Am I going to say, hey, no, this isn't happening? All right, so example. After my son failed his exam, I put my foot down and said he couldn't play his favorite game until he improved his grades. So this means I made a decision, I enforced that decision very strongly, and nothing can change it. Firm decision. Put my foot down. Next, partition. To divide into parts. So the United States is partitioned into separate states, divided. I divided my hard drive. One division is for Windows and the other is for Mac. What's a different way we can say these sentences using the word provided? I mean, the word we just learned. 1, 2, 3, partition. I partitioned my hard drive. Okay, guys, so when we're talking about countries and we're talking about computers, hard drives, we usually use the word partition. But we see here that the writer uses this word to talk about his life. He says, I've always preferred to keep the people in my life neatly partitioned. What does he mean by this? He wants there, as he says, to be a clear distinction between his work life, love life, social life, family life, different groups. Clear distinction. So we're really talking about, what he's talking about is a distinction of social spheres. So think about yourself. Look at this diagram right here. We all belong to many different social spheres where we have ourselves, then we have our children, our extended family, our neighbors, friends, personal acquaintances. So the writer wants a clear distinction between his social sphere. So he doesn't want it to look like this. He wants it to be like this, disjoint communities. He doesn't want them to talk to each other. Now, a very interesting psychology is happening right here. The writer prefers disjointed, unconnected social spheres. So not like this, but like this. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have questions, please ask later. Screw something up. To make a mistake or spoil something. Okay, so the writer says, this way, if I screw up in one social sphere, I can at least save face in the others. So once again, he's talking about social spheres. If he screws up in one, that means that the others won't be affected. For example, imagine, I know this doesn't really happen to you, but imagine you drink too much with a group of friends. It can cause you to lose face, right? Yeah, it's not fun. Depending on what you do, it can be a source of humiliation, right? But you go to work the next day, no one knows because the two social spheres are distinct. These are your coworkers, they're not your friends. They don't know what you did last night. So in this way, there could be some benefit of having distinct social spheres. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if you disagree. Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with this, but we're just trying to understand what he's saying. Okay, so paradigm. So this means a typical example or pattern of something, a model. But my girlfriend isn't happy with this paradigm. So my girlfriend isn't happy with my way of doing things. That's what he means. I think paradigm may be a little strange to use in this situation. But what is his pattern? What is his paradigm? I don't know. So even native speakers make mistakes. I think his pattern is keeping relationships secret on social media, locking his phone, not telling her details about his life. So I think this is implied because he says that she wants to micromanage him, so maybe he doesn't tell her enough about what he does in his free time. So guys, I don't want to mislead you. When we talk about paradigms, we normally talk about this. So look at this picture. This is a model. It's an easy way of understanding a concept, a general way to view something. A model to describe a situation. Paradigm. So we have all sorts of learning paradigms with the instructor, experience, knowledge. So they're very common. But I don't really know. The way that he uses paradigm, he just means his pattern, his habit. So probably not the best usage there. Transparent, easy to see through. Okay, so it's free, not free form, free from pretense or deceit. Yeah, another typo right there. So his girlfriend wants him to be completely transparent with everything he does on his free time. What does this mean? Well, she probably wants him to tell him her details about his life. Usually it's through text, phone call, whatever, like this. That's probably what she means when she wants him to be transparent. Okay. So a lack of transparency is one of the problems that people worry about in politics. Why? Because citizens pay taxes. They want to know where their money is being spent. So naturally, they want transparency in government. Transparency. Native speakers use this word all the time. Shameless, cringeworthy. Shameless means lack of shame. Cringeworthy, causing feelings of embarrassment or awkwardness. Okay, so if you have this face, this is like a cringe, when you recoil in distaste. So cringeworthy memories usually refer to memories, something that's cringeworthy. They're memories that make us cringe. We really wish we didn't do that. Just the thought makes us very ashamed. Cringeworthy, very common. The writer says, the very thought of broadcasting my relationship status is such a shameless, in such a shameless way, is so cringeworthy. What does he mean by this? He's sort of all over the place. It could mean many things. For some reason, he doesn't want to broadcast his relationship, or he thinks that broadcasting his relationship is shameful, and there could be reasons like he may think that showing off certain aspects of his life on the internet is embarrassing because it makes him look like he's starving for attention. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. He may be embarrassed to be seen with his girlfriend. Okay, that's also a possibility, but I don't think it's the case because he said that she's attractive, right? So I think this comes down to independence. He doesn't want to be controlled. He wants to be his own person. Okay, I think that's the key issue here, not his girlfriend. No man is an island. What does this mean? This is sort of like a proverb. It means that a person requires company and the support of society to thrive. The writer says, no man's an island, but perhaps that doesn't apply to me. Well, I would argue that it does apply to him because his entrepreneurship has led to a lucrative business venture. You need society for business. You need people. I think that even he is not an island. He needs people too for his business. Micromanage, to have control over an operation. Micromanagement, it's a management style that we really hate. Guys, have you ever had a manager that wants everyone to report back to them for every little thing, frequent status reports, as though the employees can't be trusted to do even the simplest tasks by themselves? Well, I think it's a very common thing, and it really gets annoying, doesn't it? Micromanage. Nobody wants to be micromanaged. So, and the writer too, I don't like the idea of being micromanaged. So he's afraid of his girlfriend micromanaging him. Slippery slope fallacy. So, this is the assumption that once a course of action is taken, it will lead to additional steps of undesirable consequence. Let me explain. Slippery slope. One action will trigger a train of events. This is the assumption. But there's really no reason to believe that these events will happen. Take this for example. School is killing us. Why? Textbooks are made from paper. Paper are made from trees. We need trees for oxygen. Thus, school is killing us because it's taking away our oxygen. See, it's a slippery slope. It doesn't make sense. Just because textbooks are made from paper doesn't mean that they're going to kill us, really. So, the author is afraid of a slippery slope kind of situation. So, first she's going to be keeping tabs on me. What's next? It's going to be the new normal. Then she's going to try to control something else in my life. One thing leads to another. It's a kind of paranoia, isn't it? He's kind of paranoid. Keep tabs on someone. To routinely monitor or observe what they're doing. I think, it's self-explanatory. Grown-ass man. So this is very funny. We see this in comedy a lot. It just means a grown-up, an adult. So we often hear people say, hey, why are you treating me like I'm a child? I'm a grown-ass man. So, it's a really funny expression if you know the context. Crying out loud, an expression of frustration or surprise. Mom, why are you calling me this early? For crying out loud, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. Crying out loud. Okay. All right, guys. Sorry if I talked too long. I just thought those were good to know. If you have questions about those words, let me know. And now I want to ask you, hopefully you understand the letter a little better, how would you respond? What advice would you give this person? And what do you think about the writer? So I'm going to copy and paste the questions in the chat box, and hopefully we can have a discussion. Let's see what's going to happen. Alrighty, so we are back. So the questions are, what advice would you give this person, and what do you think about the writer, right? Oh, right, so we have lots of comments. Oh, about saving face, yeah, yeah, so you originally heard it from a Japanese friend. Saving face is really important in Japan. Yeah, maybe even more so than in other places. Yeah, saving face is really important. All right, so Luna says there needs to be a compromise, a halfway point. Okay, that's a good advice. Okay, good. So being a couple or married is not 1 plus 1 equals 2, it's 1 plus 1 equals 1. So that means you're sort of one person, basically. Your life has blended together into one. Good. Yeah, that's some good points. Yeah. That's right. We're only hearing one side of the story. Mhm. Good, good. One person says, I can totally understand him. He has a clear way of living his life his own way. There's nothing wrong with that. But the problem he is having is that the relationship, uh, the problem he's having is that with regard to this relationship, he is better to be alone without her. So I think what you mean is that with this relationship, he wants to be alone more than he wants to be with her. Is that what you mean? Yeah, please let me know about that. All right, so one person says, well, I think it wouldn't be fair if you let her have her own way, but you have to think about why she's acting like that. Okay, maybe you acted suspicious. Good. All right, so one person says the girlfriend needs all kinds of attention from him, but he's not willing to do it, so they should separate. Yeah. One way to look at this is that they are just different people, and that is one way to solve this problem. Yeah, absolutely. When you're thinking about this, let me give my opinion. I want to say what I think, and you're totally free to disagree or agree with me. So let's see what's going on here. Okay, so this is my response. To whom it may concern, do you really want to have a serious relationship with this girl? I am going to assume that you do, otherwise you probably wouldn't be asking in the first place. If you want to have a future with your girlfriend, it's important that you establish healthy boundaries now rather than later. The dating relationship is a precursor to marriage. If you two can't find a balance now, don't think it's going to get any better in the future. And I'm not just talking about her. If you want a serious relationship, especially with her, then you will need to make adjustments to your lifestyle as well. Depending on the situation, that may mean distancing yourself from some of your friends, especially your other female acquaintances. If you have guy friends who like to enjoy the nightlife, you will need to stop these activities too. So based on what you told me about your girlfriend, I'm sure she won't like it if you go out drinking and dancing with other women. So if you want to be with her, don't do that. Think about areas where you may be willing to compromise and put your foot down when you encounter a deal breaker. A deal breaker is when your freedom is worth more to you than the relationship itself. If you are transparent about this, your girlfriend can decide for herself if she wants to stay with you or not. At some point in your life, you may feel that it's time to make the transition from single life to committed relationship. Maybe the time is now. Only you can make that call. When you are ready, perhaps you could introduce your girlfriend to some of your friends and let your social lives coalesce naturally. I'm sorry there's not much more I can say about this. You're both adults. As far as I can tell, there's no victim in this situation. Ideally, you would both be on the equal footing. It's up to both of you to decide how much you're willing to compromise. Okay, good luck. Branden Noland, that's me. So, yeah, that's how I responded this letter. What do you think? Do you agree with me? I want to know if you agree with me or disagree, or if you have your own idea. Oh, we're getting lots of comments. Mm-hmm. Okay, so N says this is a common situation. Good. Yeah, common situation. Making boundaries is hard. Negotiation compromises are always painful. Yeah, that's true. Just talk to her again and again. Eventually you will lose. Okay. Okay. I see some people agree with my opinion. Yeah, they're both adults. They just have to be frank with each other. And I think that's one of the problems that people have is sometimes they don't say what they want. They're not willing to walk away. So good, good. Okay. Oh, in case if any of you are wondering, this is a bird. It's cute, right? I just saw the word dead up there. Okay, so I think we're ready to wrap up. Let me just look over. Let's just review some of the words we looked at today. So this is the new vocabulary. Have one's way. Okay. This means to have things done according to one's personal preference. What about the other words? Try to match those up. Okay, so I'm assuming you had to go at it. Put one's foot down. Okay, so this is when we make a firm rule, right? Put one's foot down. Partition. To divide something, especially computer hard drives and land. To divide something. Screw up. When you make a mistake. Paradigm. General model or pattern. Transparent, something that's easy to see through. Next, think about it, and then I will tell you the answer. Cringeworthy. Cringeworthy usually refers to a memory that we have that makes us cringe, something that's usually very shameful. Cringeworthy. So this is when a memory makes you ashamed. Micromanage. When somebody micromanages you, they try to control you in every little detail. In every little way, they try to get you to do what they want. They want you to report back constantly, and they're always judging what you're doing, and oftentimes it's never good enough. Keep tabs on someone to monitor someone closely. So if you don't pay your taxes or something, maybe the government will keep tabs on you. Grown-ass man. This is like the funniest expression we've had all day. A grown adult. For crying out loud. Okay, so this is an exclamation of surprise. I'm a grown-ass man, for crying out loud. Yeah. Alrighty. So yeah, we're pretty much out of time at this point. Well, let's go back. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions about some of the words we talked about, or if you have more to say about the letter, now's the time. I'm going to be seeing what you have to say about that. Oh, I was yeah. Let's see, maybe I can share some more questions. It seems like my mouse isn't working. There it goes. So just some topics related to the topic. if two people are dating, and we often see this, do you think it's important for them to put a couple photo on Kakao Talk? And it's sort of a common thing that we see. We also see some couple clothing and stuff. And maybe one more question. Should the couples be able to look at each other's phones? Your opinion, if you have any idea about that. Yeah, if he has a handsome face, that's a good point. Yeah. Sometimes it's cute, I guess. Sometimes it is. Okay, so we have another comment here. A couple photo, no, unless they both really want to do it. Good. Yeah, everybody's different. One person says, "Oh no, let's stop it! Don't do it. It destroys the pic." So I think it destroys picture profile function. Okay. Okay, good, good. Yeah, you don't care. Some people care, some people don't care. Some people think it's silly. So that's the wonderful thing about discussion. Everybody has their own opinion, and there's usually not a wrong or right answer. So guys, I really appreciate all the help you gave me today, all of your feedback, your comments. It really made my life easier. We're going to stop now. We're just about out of time. But yeah, it's been very nice. And I will see you next time. Okay? Yeah. All right. See you later. Bye. I do have his password, but I never check. You guys were great. Thanks. Okay. See you later.